Come one, come all, and witness a fantabulous events full of astonishing tales, and crazy stories and stupid opinions.
And don't forget that Ellie Goulding, huh?
Of course not. We never forget here. Welcome to the Black Lambcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to the BLC. I'm your host, Mr. 205, and with me today is Mr.
Bidoof.
Mr. Bidoof.
Yeah,
Wasn't
Mr.
that
Bidoof.
an amazing intro that you just heard?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good.
You're a liar. You didn't hear any intro right now. I edited
No,
it
it
in
was-
post.
What?
I just edited in post. You didn't hear any intro.
Gross.
See,
Well, I mean,
you're
it was
caught
a lot-
lying.
No, because I know the intro. It was a lot better than our previous intro that was ad-libbed.
Your mom was ad-libbed.
I mean, aren't we all ad-libbed?
I mean, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We're all an additional rib because the Bible and such. We're ad rib. Anyways, so let's just introduce ourselves a little bit so people know a little bit more about us. If you want to go first, that's fine.
No, you can go first.
All right. I'm a college student, so I'm kind of old, kind of young. Perspective, right? I'm super young if you're like 85.
Oh, that's pretty... Yeah, that's...
that age specifically.
Uh-huh.
I like to do poetry, but I probably won't ever share any of that poetry on here because that persona of who I write as a poem is not gonna, dictate how I am freely with my friends. Right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. I like video games. I like politics.
Uh-huh.
I like dank memes.
Go on.
I mean, but who doesn't like dank memes?
Old people that don't understand them.
There are old people who are dank memes. Like that old
That's very
lady
true.
that's like, watch this here, Justin Bieber.
Or the older one where she's just like, what? Since the WT.
Weird no teeth
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Speaking of no teeth,
Go on.
there's this actor, just real quick before you introduce yourself.
Yeah.
There's this actor from that movie, The Maze Runner. His name's Thomas in the movie. I don't know the actor's name. But he's always gawking. He always has his mouth open. But like he purposely covers his teeth. You never see his teeth. So he's just like, huh? Huh? They're like, Thomas, you gotta do it. And he's like, teeth just disappeared.
I'm trying to figure out which one he was. What do he look like? Was he
He's the protagonist. He's the turtle mouth.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying now.
Anyways,
I haven't seen Maze Runner in a while, so...
go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Bidoof. I am as well a college student. In fact, I feel I've seen 205 around campus at some point, but I don't know if we go to the same college or not.
And everyone has their twin in the world.
That is very true. That is very true. I mean, look at Nick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Daniel Radcliffe fan art looks just like him. I'll put that up on the website.
Yeah?
I'll start using our website, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, college student, so I'm old but young. I enjoy roughly the same things that 205 does, video games and relaxing. Not so much poetry. I'm more of a concrete kind of thinker as opposed to abstract.
Hey, it's all about dualities.
It is. But I'm just saying, in that duality, my concrete thinking rises above. Yeah. Video games, relaxing, hanging out, being my own person.
All right, I have a little. since we mentioned the twin thing.
Yeah.
When I was younger, there was this photo in National Geographic or whatever, because when you're in elementary school, they have like millions of those comics.
Yeah.
But I'm reading the magazine, in the back, there's this kid, this Chinese monk or whatever, this young child, and he has a ponytail. I mean, he's like bowing, he has his hands together, but he looks exactly like my brother. And my brother is not Chinese.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it just looks exactly like him, but with a ponytail. And I wish I was able to find it. I'm pretty sure if I scoured enough in the internet, I could look at all the past Nat Geos and be like, oh, this monk.
Uh-huh.
It's hilarious.
They're, I think, the creepiest quote-unquote twin or doppelganger, whatever you want to call them, experience I've had it was last Christmas break. I was home, and my girlfriend sent me a text and a picture, and it was this picture of this guy, and she was at a high school basketball game. And there's this guy in blue jeans, and he's wearing a black hat and a sweater, and he's got beard, he's got black hair, and she goes, "This is you." And I'm like, "I don't remember that game. I don't even know why you have this picture." And she goes, "No, like, this is right here, right now." And I showed the picture to some of my friends, and they're like, "Why did somebody take a creepy picture of you?" And this guy, same beard style, same hairstyle, same like even posture and sitting. Like whenever I'm at like a game and it's a good game, like I'll kind of like lean forward and, you know, have my elbows on my knees and just like I'm into the game. And he was doing the same exact thing. And it kind of terrified me because I'm in one state and my girlfriend is in another, and it's like, it's kind of, it was strange.
Can you send this to me? I haven't seen this.
I don't know if that photo still exists or not.
So your whole story's a lie.
I mean, it might be, but you're just gonna have to go with my word on this one.
That's fine. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I always liked those doppelganger stories when I was younger. I actually believed in ghosts. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not dumb now, obviously. But I would read the stories and it'd be like the doppelganger of the person who's still alive, so it's a ghost of who's still alive. And it's like, wait, what? Like, a person goes to see their mom, peeks in the house and sees her mom cooking, right? Knocks on the door, mom doesn't respond, and then you call the mom, and you're talking to her, and you're looking at the doppelganger, and the mom's like, "No, I'm, you know, in New Orleans right now, not in Michigan where I live."
Yeah.
That's how the story went.
Yeah. No, I've read stories like that too.
Yeah, but it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Please. I'm not dumb. These things aren't real.
They're not. But supposedly there are at least 7 people in the world that look like you.
I can believe it.
Yeah, according to science. I mean,
my friends, some of them kind of look like me, like not just like, you know, dead on, but they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, I've had like friends in the past who are about the same height, who have, you know, same hair. Like, Nick's tall as me, pretty much, maybe taller, but he has glasses and he's dark skinned.
Yeah.
Except I take care of myself better than Nick. Nick's dumb.
Well, no, that's the thing about Nick's doppelganger, is that they are extremely close, and apparently this guy is from Brazil.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
More about Nick.
The relation is uncanny.
The unseen voice.
The unseen voice, the unseen entity that
I like the unseen voice because it doesn't make sense. Voice.
I suppose, if you want to put it that way. See what I mean?
It doesn't
See
make
what
sense.
I mean, world? I'm a concrete thinker. I'm supposed to abstract. The idea of an unseen voice is abstract.
I mean, you can never see a voice unless it's little waves on a computer.
That's true. Anyway. But yeah, no, it's crazy that sometimes, or there's another one of our friend Bubbles, he'll sometimes appear on these podcasts. He too has
before you go on, let me just say, it cannot be called a podcast since we're not putting it on iTunes. I suggest, because you didn't want to put it on iTunes, I suggest a TubeCast.
TubeCast? I like that.
I mean, it sounds like a gross surgical procedure. But
Fair.
But I'm sure there's probably TubeCast. Anyways, go on.
Yeah. Okay, in this cast, let's put it that way, we have a friend named Bubbles, and he'll appear on every now and again. And he, too, has a twin on campus who, same height, same, like, body type, same, like, facial structure, even same colored hair. Except it you know, Bubbles is a male and his twin is a female. And it threw me off when I first saw her.
Because
I thought it
more
was
attracted?
No, because I saw this person that I thought was Bubbles, and I was going to go up to him and be like, Bubbles, you know, say something like I would usually say to Bubbles, and then I realized it wasn't Bubbles. And I was like, I just dodged a very, very awkward situation right there.
I did that once when I was like 4th grade.
Yeah.
I ran up to it was Valentine's Day, which is funny. I guess it's kind of appropriate. But you can go buy like Valograms or whatever for like 25 cents. You can deliver a sucker to someone in your classroom.
Uh-huh.
And I ran up to somebody, like he was bent over the table. I thought it was my friend. I didn't do any. This is 4th grade, right? So I'm not going to go and hump him from the back. But I ran up next to him and I put my arm around him. I'm like, hey, bud, right? And it's not him. And I kept my arm around him. I'm like, oh, I thought you were my friend. I mean, you could still be my friend. But you're not who I thought you were.
Yeah.
Why'd you lie to me? And then I walked away. We all have those stories.
Yeah, no, we do. I had one kind of like that. It was at a movie theater. I went with my family when I was younger, and I had to go to the bathroom during the middle of the movie. And so I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and my family usually sits with my dad at the aisle seat, and then my brother next to him, and then me next to my brother, and then my mom next to me, and
then Parker Lewis next to your mom.
Exactly.
And etc.
And so I went to the wrong row, and it was set up the same way. I see somebody who is roughly looking like my dad, then my brother, and then there's an open seat, and then a woman. And, it's a movie theater. It's dark. And so I walk up and I sit down.
And you accidentally sit on the wrong dad's lap.
Well, I mean, I was sitting in a chair, but...
You sit on the wrong dad's lap.
But generally, I sat in the wrong chair, and everybody just kind of looks at me. And, I was like 10, and I just look, and it's this lady who's not my mom. And I kind of started to freak out a little bit.
I mean, she could have been your mom. In actuality, the world is a strange place.
I hope not. But then I turn around, and there are 2 rows up. And so I didn't say anything. I just got back up and went up to my actual seat.
Were they laughing at you?
No. At least I don't think they were, because I was
dumb face.
I was like 10 years old. So.
I would have laughed at you.
You would have laughed at a 10-year-old for his
easily.
Socially awkward mistakes.
I laugh at like 4-year-olds. I'll laugh at my little brother. Easily. I don't care how old he is. If you do something dumb, then it's funny.
I suppose.
I mean, if you're young, you have more of an excuse. You're learning, but it's still hilarious.
Yeah. I can see it. But, so there's this app that I have. I'm not going to name it, but it's an app. I guess you could say it's a social media kind of app.
Is it Tinder?
No, it's not Tinder.
Is it Twitter?
No, it has...
Is it Grindr?
No, it's not.
Do you not like Grindr?
It's not one of those kind of apps. If you let me finish, I'll explain it. It's an app for all these memes. Like, think memes are on this app. And sometimes it'll be, a funny meme, or other times it'll be a story told in pictures. And there's like a caption that gives background to the pictures. There's this one, and there's this guy in Alaska who found 2 grizzly bear cubs whose mother died giving birth or whatever. He didn't the caption didn't say, it just said that he found 2 grizzly bear cubs next to their dead mother, and so he took them in and cared for them. And I guess one of the because they were little, the pictures were just, these were little tiny bears, and he said that one of them died a few days after he took them into his house, and so there's just that one grizzly bear, and all the pictures are showing the bear with the family as the bear is growing, and then there's pictures of just this massive grizzly bear sitting inside this person's house, at the dinner table, and they're out on walks. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what it'd be like to have such an animal as a pet.
I'd be thinking to myself, how dumb are you?
Yeah, no, because it is a wild animal, but in the same sense, it's a giant grizzly bear.
Yeah, you'd be warm at night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And you don't need a guard dog.
Yeah, you don't need a guard dog at all.
But I'd be scared if I was a little kid. I'm sitting in bed. I'm like, I really need a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't want to creak anything, because if I startle the bear that's sitting on my parents' bed at the foot of their bed, making the bed creak and lean in.
Yeah.
It's if I make a noise in the dark and he sees that, it's intruder. Immediately.
Yeah.
Just tackles me, eats me, just because I wanted water.
Yeah. I guess that would be a worst case scenario. But then I was thinking, what do you need in order to legally possess said animal? I mean, in the caption it says that the bear comes and goes as it pleases. So I guess in that case it's not actual ownership, it's just a bear that's comfortable with humans. But how do you get exotic pets like that through legally obtain pets like that? Because there's people that get tigers as pets, or cheetahs and all that stuff, and it's what do you have to do to get that kind of pet
from the state?
That's it? Just a permit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need exotic animal permit.
Huh.
I mean, in Vegas they have that. They're trained professionals, I mean, purportedly, but they have at the Mirage, I think it was the Mirage. They have like this whole exotic zoo where there's dolphins and white tigers, and they're just sitting outside in these tiny cages. It's kind of sad, but they have all these exotic animals. It's not like they can just have it because it's a show. They probably need a permit.
Right. But again, just like having a bear as a pet, like you're going out into the woods and you're accompanied with like a grizzly bear, the only thing out there that really would freak you out. Because I like to go hiking a lot, and you know, most of the time if I go into the dense woods, I'm thinking about moose, bear, and mountain lion. And it's like,
absolutely,
like if you have one of those creatures on your side, there's no reason to be afraid. You know?
If you're like a Tarzan-esque figure, you can call upon them.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell your cougar story? Your mountain lion story? The mountain lion one. Not old lady who wants to get down with you. Just the regular cougar that's chasing you. Not the old lady cougar that was chasing you.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. How long ago was that? I think that was...
You told me 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember the exact
so
time.
Maybe it was
I think
2
it was...
years from that. So it was 4 years ago.
Okay, so that would be my junior year in high school. Sophomore, junior. Anyway, I remember the day. It was Easter Day. It was Easter Sunday. And it was a quiet, relaxing kind of afternoon. I was like, I kind of want to go on a bike ride. And I live in a wooded area lived, past tense, in a wooded area. And it's like a wooded community. You know, there's access roads and all this
like
and that.
Montana?
Something like that.
Or Canada?
Canadian. And, you know, all my friends are like, oh, you know, it's so easy to get lost on those roads. Like every time I go into that community, like I always get lost on the roads because I take a wrong turn. And I never understood that. Like I never get lost in that place. So I decided to go on my bike ride and attempt to like get lost just to see what I could see. If there was anything that anything cool out there that I've missed. And I come along this old road that nobody's really driven on before. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this road because I've never been down it before. I've never seen it, so I'm going to take it. And I came out to this clearing, and it turns out that road went to an old like logging area that, you know, had been abandoned for quite a while. Nobody's ever been there, but there's still remnants of the dirt road. So I'm following the roads.
Can we just take a moment to get the word out there that there are abandoned houses and they're just neglected. People don't take care of them. Just a simple $5 donation, like to our charity, will help these abandoned houses. They'll learn love again. They won't feel empty inside. Anyways, that's the sponsorship. Go on.
And I'm going down the road, and I see like this little white spot off to the right of the road, and I stop on my bike and I look, and it's deer fur, like something had just eaten a deer. It's like, okay, whatever.
The way you said that.
What?
Deer fur. It sounds like Jennifer, but a deer.
Oh, deer fur.
My friend, come hither.
And I was like, okay, whatever, you know, coyotes, they're rampant around there. And anyway, I keep going, and I come to this mud puddle because like last night, the night before, it rained, you know, a fair amount. So like it's just this mud puddle. And I look down because I see something weird, and it's this giant feline paw print, like stuck in the mud, and it's going across my path. And the thing that really made my hair stand up was that the water was just filling into like the paw print. Like if you ever step into a mud puddle, you step, then you walk away, and then like the water slowly seeps into your footprint. It was like that. My hair stood up, and I hear like a twig snap behind me, and I just hear this, and I was, oh, you know, and so I haul on my bike. I'm going as fast as I can, and if you've never heard the sound of a mountain lion like make that kind of noise, I would suggest going on to YouTube and typing in mountain lion cry or call, whatever, screech. And to put it into perspective, it sounds like a woman is being like viciously murdered. It's just this high-pitched, shrill, blood-curdling screech.
I've played Deer Hunter in GTA. I know what that sounds like.
And so I keep going, and I'm riding as fast as I can for maybe 2 miles, and I stop, and I can still hear it moving through the bushes behind me. And I'm thinking, you know, I don't know where this road goes. I don't know how long I'm going to be riding, but all I know is that if I ride fast enough, I have a chance. And I kept going, and I kept going, and finally I came to this paved road, and I think, oh, you know, sweet, there's paved road, there's people, you know, maybe I can figure out where I am. And I go to the right on the paved road, and I come to a house, and like, okay, sweet, I'm gonna just like go ahead and knock on the door and ask for help. And as I'm going towards the house, I notice that there's a Confederate flag hanging on the porch, and I don't I don't think they would appreciate having a little Mexican boy coming to
To be fair,
their house.
how Mexican do you look?
I mean, I don't know. That depends on the person who's looking at me, I guess.
I say you look at least 3 Mexican.
3 Mexican out of...
Mexican.
Okay, I'll take that. Anyway, and so I'm like, I'd rather take on the mountain lion than somebody who doesn't appreciate me. And so...
Who doesn't appreciate you. You
And
come
so-
in, they're just like, you're just scum. You'll never be anything more than scum.
Yeah, then I kept riding, following this paved road, and I finally came to a sign, like a road sign, and I'm like, hey.
Cookie. Grandma's house right here. He took a left immediately.
Yeah, no, I came to this road sign, I figured out where I was, and so I finally made my way home. And I told my mom, I got home, I was like, Mom, I just got chased by a mountain lion. She goes, that's nice, dear. I'm like, oh.
That's nice, dear.
Yeah, that's nice, dear.
I think you were...
Exaggerating, maybe. I don't know.
Deer fur.
Deer fur.
That's nice, deer.
That's nice deer fur. But, yeah, no, that screech is probably one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard.
Oh, I mean, you told me this story once.
Yeah.
It's really freaking, like, it freaks me out. Like, if I were in that situation, fuck me, I'd be screwed.
Well, there was one instance, it was this past summer, something like that. My friends and I, we went hiking, and we went to what was called the Fernand Saddle. It's this mountain near my area, and we're hiking through there, and we find this trail, and we're following along, and we come to this part of the trail where there's a large amount of bushes and trees that are overhanging, so it made kind of like a natural tunnel. And we all just kind of stopped. There are 3 of us, and we all just stopped and looked, and we kind of looked at each other, and we're like, we don't want to go through there, because it was prime, like, bear habitat. You know, there's overgrowth in which they can hide.
There's just a whole bunch of burly men, scantily clad.
I was gonna say, I guess I should clarify, grizzly bear or black bear habitat. And so
It's just really big men, just big hairy men. They're like peeping. They have a whole bunch of shrubs to hide in.
yeah, no, I think, but those kind of instances, you know, encountering a mountain lion or going through an area that looks like it would be hiding a bear, it just makes hiking that much more exciting, I suppose. Like, nature is beautiful in and of itself, but to actually put into perspective that you do not rule nature, nature rules you, it gives a different perspective. Just saying.
Just saying, all I hear is Bidoof messing around.
That's not
with the
Bidoof. That's Alex messing around with the Nerf gun.
So Alex is just as bad.
But do you have any hiking stories, Frank? Or
hike.
outdoor?
Oh,
You don't
no.
hike? Do you fish?
I do fish.
Yeah.
I
What was
hate
your?
fishing.
You hate fishing?
Let me
was
think. I have hiked before. I mean, there's nothing really eventful. Just like with my dad, maybe find a gardener. Oh, not a gardener snake. What are those? The black, yellow, kill a fellow.
Oh,
black, red,
No,
red,
it's not
black,
corn.
lumberjack,
It's not
something
corn
like that.
snake. I think no, it's not corn snake.
Coral.
Coral. Yeah.
Yeah, we found
I
one
think
of
it's-
those ones.
What is it? I think it's black to red. You're okay, Fred. Black to yellow. You're a dead fellow. Something like that.
Black, red, friend. Black,
Fred.
yellow.
Yeah. You're
mellow,
okay,
mellow.
Fred. Yeah. Something
Buy,
like that.
buy Mountain Dew.
By Mountain Dew. Yeah.
Anyway, don't buy Mountain Dew.
No, it's horrible. It
I
is
don't
disgusting.
like it. It tastes gross. It's bad for your sperm count.
It's full of sugar. Like, okay, I have another story about Mountain Dew, but tell me about your fishing story.
I'll tell you about my mountain story.
Okay.
My Mountain Dew story.
Okay.
No, I'm just playing. So when I was younger, where was it? This was somewhere in Vancouver.
Uh-huh.
You pick which one. There's like 3 Vancouvers.
I mean, there's,
Vancouver, Japan.
oh, I didn't know that there's one in Japan. Yeah, Vancouver, Washington, and Vancouver, British Columbia.
In Vancouver, Texas. Anyways,
That's 4. You said that
I was
first.
young at this time. I was like 7, and I was with my mom's friend's son. So I guess he was my friend. He was my bud. He was my pal at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, let's go climb this mountain, because they had this apartment complex, and there's this really big hill behind it full of trees and shrubbery. And he's just telling, he's just like, we're just having fun climbing up there. And then and then he starts mentioning, like, there's this old guy who lives up here, and he's weird. He does weird things. And that just has me freaked out. I'm like, okay. I mean, you could have told me that before I climbed. But I guess it's fine now. But so we're climbing Mountain Dew, right? And we get really way, we get way up in there, Morty. Like way up in there. Like we get way up to the top.
Yeah.
And we see this pole or this stick hanging out, and it just has like pants and shirts hanging off of it. And there's a little tent there. And we're like, oh snap. Because we're kids, we don't swear, but we're like, oh snap. And he looks at me. This is funny because he's a kid. He's like 7. He looks at me in the eyes. He's like dead-eyed. He's run. Like, okay. And so we bolted down that hill, and I hurt myself so bad. I can't remember. I just remember now that I had hurt myself. But I was like stumbling down there, jumping down a hill. If you ever jump down a hill, it's stupid because it's steep, so you land like way further down than when you jumped. And I like broke my ankle a few times. Not like really break, but you break your ankle.
You rolled it, yeah.
Yeah, and a couple times I roll a little bit, keep running. Leaves are going up my shirt. I'm getting like scrapes and stuff. Just itchiness. It was the worst. It wasn't great at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 So, fishing.
Yes.
Like how?
Phishing emails, avoid them.
Huh?
Phishing emails, avoid them.
Oh yeah. I see those all the time. I'm glad that our school has like made us aware of those. But so you said that you don't like fishing?
I really don't.
No.
I have fished a lot in my life. It's just not my favorite thing to do. I don't like torturing animals.
Fair enough.
Can I tell a fishing story though?
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I was little. I was maybe like 4. Well, every time I'm little, I'm usually 4. Unless I'm 4 months. I have a memory when I was 4 months old. All right.
Right.
I don't know if that's real, but I remember sitting on a blanket with my mom and my dad when they were together, and I remember seeing fireworks. I remember the blanket design. I remember everything about that. And I asked them about that. I'm like, how old was I? And you're like, you were just a baby. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a baller for remembering that. Anyways, I have this fishing story. I was with my dad, and he took me fishing at this weird dock. This is the same area where we found that snake.
Yeah.
But we're fishing, and I'm really good at fishing. Like, just as a kid, like my dad knows the spots where to go fish. It's
Right,
which is funny because
yeah.
my pops, which I call my stepdad, he rarely catches fish, which is just funny. But my dad knows all these sweet spots, and I always catch like little not trout, probably like little bass fish. But there's this one time we're on the dock and I'm fishing, and to me it looked like a lobster. It was big. It was ginormous. To a kid, it's a lobster.
Yeah.
It was a decent sized crawdon, a crawfish, whatever. It was
Yeah.
pretty big size. And I was like, that's cool. Look what I caught. And the reason I caught that is probably because my line just sunk to the bottom. He just nipped on it.
Right.
It was amazing. And I was like, sweet. People are taking pictures with it. I feel like the most badass kid ever. Just catching lobsters out of the rivers.
It's pretty good, yeah. Have you ever had crawfish?
No?
Oh, it's pretty good if you do it right.
I hear. I mean, in the South, they have all those... They have, like, buckets full.
Yeah.
I've seen Forrest Gump.
Yeah, you have. Well, I mean, yeah.
See, I'm not wrong.
Are you sure you're not mixing that up with shrimp? Anyway. Yeah, no, crawdad are pretty good. So, if you ever get a chance, have some.
This has been your sponsorship for crawdads?
Yeah. So do you know what pike are?
Yes.
Pike, yeah.
It's a stick you put people's heads on back in the Middle Ages.
I was talking about the fish. But
No, I know what pike fish
I guess
are.
there's two types of people. So pike, they're kind of rampant around one of the lakes.
What's that mean?
That there's a lot of them, and they're
rampant.
Rampant, yeah.
They jump out of the water, slap people, take their wallets, and go back in the water.
I mean, pretty much. So I worked at a summer camp, and one time on my break, I was like, okay, it's 100 some odd degrees out. I'm going to go jump in the lake real quick and cool off. And so I grabbed a pair of goggles, one of the lifeguards diving goggles, and put them on because the water was pretty clear and I wanted to see more. So I jumped in, I'm swimming around under there, and I swim under the dock, and I see this long, like, shadow move, like, from one side of the dock to the other, just, like, out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, what is that? I look up, and it's maybe a 3 to 4 foot pike, and he's just sitting there, and he's just looking at me, and I was like, oh,
He's
hi
like,
there.
do something.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the look that he was giving me. Was like, do something. This is my place. Do something. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that because they're mean. They're nasty. So
they'll slap you and take your wallet. I'm
here. Yeah, because everybody goes swimming with their wallet, right?
Absolutely. No, They jump out of the water, slap your face, dig in your wallet, and then they go buy a whole bunch of booze. And that's why the rivers are so polluted. These dang pikes.
It's because they just they drop their bottles when they try and go.
I hate people who do that, by the way. It's so annoying.
They litter.
Yeah, they bury their litter in the sand on the river or the beach.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now. You came with 50 plastic bags. You can't just put it in a plastic bag.
Right? Or it's like when I go hiking, I went with my apartment, and we went to Trail 10 Falls, and it's this, again, I'm sorry, I love nature, but it was this beautiful place, and there's garbage everywhere. Like, there's water bottles, there's granola bar wrappers and everything in there, and it's just like, come on. This is a very nice place of nature, and you're destroying it because you're too lazy to carry your own garbage.
Yeah, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
It gets me mad. Gets me mad.
Grinds your gears.
Yeah, it gets them going. I remember on one of my fishing trips with my family, now that I think about it, it could have been a pike. But as a child, I don't know how to distinguish fish. But even in my mind, it looks like what I think it was. And it looked like I was by this river, walked down a little bit, so I'm a little away from my family. And I'm sitting there, and this huge fish comes. You know what? Okay, I think I know what it was. But this huge fish comes up to the shore, the creek where I was, because I was looking at all these little tiny fish swimming around. And this giant fish is it's probably 4 feet, 4 by 2. So it's really big.
Yeah.
It looked like a sucker fish.
Uh-huh.
A huge sucker fish. It had the same pattern and everything. It could have been a sturgeon. I don't know why there'd be a sturgeon up there.
Wait, one more time. Where was it?
It's at a river.
But where?
Where I live. I mean.
Okay. Then, no, it might have been. It might have been a sturgeon.
It could have been a sturgeon. But it's just to me as a kid, I see this giant fish, and it's this huge sucker fish.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to tell my family, and my family doesn't believe me. I go run to get them, come back, the fish is gone. I'm like, you son of a gun. I'm like, you couldn't just wait there. You couldn't be content with your life sitting on the shore.
Uh-huh.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Never believe me.
Yeah, no, like the sturgeon around here are pretty gnarly. They're like, I've gone sturgeon fishing around here a few times, and the first time I went was on my 20th birthday, and we went to the river, dropped anchor, and we're fishing for sturgeon.
What's that colloquially known as?
That one was the
When you drop
Willamette.
anchor.
Huh?
What's it mean when you drop anchor?
Like, we took a boat anchor and we dropped it into the water.
I don't believe you.
Okay, well, we dropped anchor into the water, and we're sitting stationary in the river, and we're just catching like little, 3 or 4 foot sturgeon, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fun, because I'd never caught sturgeon before until then, so I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then my girlfriend was like, we need to get you a bigger sturgeon, and I was like, well, where do we get bigger sturgeon? She goes, we know of a good spot, and so a few weeks later, we went to that spot, and it's right at the foot of a waterfall. And her dad's friend had a fish finder on the bottom of the boat, and we're looking at the screen, and it's lit up, just these long, so a fish finder, there's little like dots or lines to show a fish. And the bigger the line, the bigger the fish. And there's just massive lines just all on the bottom of the river. And so like, go ahead, take a pole and throw in a line. So I cast, and within maybe 10 seconds, the line just takes off. Like, with the bait, usually you put in a hook into like a little pickled herring or something. You put a little scent onto it, and you cast it, and it goes to the bottom, because sturgeon are bottom feeders, and they just come along, and they nom on it, and the hook gets caught in their mouth. And the line just takes off, and it starts going down river. And so we quickly pull up our anchor and go after it, because, the fish could be a mile away if you just stay there. So we're chasing after the fish. I'm on the bow of the boat trying to reel it in, and we get close to it, and I'm thinking, oh, this is it. And the fish just kind of stops. So I keep reeling in, and then suddenly my line just shoots straight down, like just straight down. It doesn't go out, doesn't go left, right. It just goes straight down. And so I keep reeling in, and then there's nothing on the line. And I thought, oh no, my line just snapped. And suddenly, 2 or 3 feet from the edge of the boat comes this massive sturgeon, just like about as big as I am, and I'm 6 foot, and it just comes right up in front of us.
You're 5'11", don't lie.
No, I'm not. I'm 6 foot.
You're 5'11".
No, I'm not. Anyway, 6 foot. And it just comes up, and I'm thinking it's going to land in our boat, it's going to flip the boat, whatever. But no, it splashes down, covers me with water, and at the same time, it spits out the hook. And so it's just like, the end of a exciting adventure ends with a sturgeon spitting its hook out at me in spite.
You got wrecked, kid.
Yeah, I did. You got super wrecked.
That'll learn you. Like I said, like the pikes, they're dangerous, but sturgeons are real OGs.
Yeah,
they
they
don't
are.
mess around.
No, they don't.
But they don't like you. Too bad. I do have a story. I mean, talking about fish is fun and all.
Yeah.
But I do have this story that, it's kind of irritated me. Kind of want to talk about it.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I'm coming home from work.
Uh-huh.
I'm driving. It's about a 20-minute drive. But I'm listening to this radio station. And the guy that's usually on there, he has a great voice. Like, his voice is amazing. That's what makes me really listen to him. It's it's a news type political station.
Uh-huh.
And he's I guess it'd be a libertarian station.
Okay.
Whenever political parties come into play, he's like, no, it's not the far right, it's not the far left, it's these individuals in power who are rich, it's these companies, whatever, names them, right, name drops them. He's like, these are the people who are the problem. It's not, stop pointing fingers everywhere else, these are the people the problem. You'll discuss that. And so when he has listeners on, they'll be like, they'll have good points, and then they'll mention like a political party, and I'm like, no, that's not what it is. It's, the FBI has too much power, etc., etc. But anyways, I listen to that station because I like that guy's voice, and I turn it on, and there's this other woman on there, and this woman's name is Dana Lash, the Dana Show. And oh my lord, she is so annoying. Like, I can side with her with how she speaks and how she's like she's into things that she talks about. She's very passionate.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with her per se in that regard, but her beliefs are ridiculous. I can't handle it. I'm listening to it. I'm like, are you kidding me? So the one thing she was talking about was that people always call her names, right? And people on the internet draw, she calls it rape fetish things of her, and like they insult her and stuff, which I'm against. You know, don't do stuff like that. That's petty. That's ridiculous.
It's not petty. It's horrible.
Yeah. If you
Like,
want
you
to
should
criticize someone, call them an idiot. That's your free speech. But
Yeah.
you do stuff like that, it's kind of terrible. But it's like someone said something about her kids, not her kids exactly, but in regards to her kids. So like her kids probably, you know, are raised dumb, blah blah blah, because of her. And she gets so offended. She's like, you say all this stuff about me, but when you mention my kids, my children, then I have lawyers, my friend, and I've sued people. Yeah. Like, she has that voice, like, yeah, I've done it. Like she's told
let me see your manager kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's one thing. The second thing was she's totally likes Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, we can talk about Ted Cruz a little bit, right? But she's talking about this advertisement that Ted Cruz has. His ads are ridiculous, by the way. We'll get into that too. But on one of his ads, they had hired, it was an open casting call. And they had hired this person who happened to be a softcore porn star. And so she's talking about this, and she's like, well, I guess they didn't know, which was good that they didn't know, right? Like the advertisement, the Ted Cruz's staff. He's like, but who's this guy who knew? Who's into it so much that he actually spotted this woman? Like, she's like so condescending and mocking. I'm like, screw you and your sense of morality, alright? If people want to watch pornography, then by all means. That's for them. But you to just judge them like that? It's like, come on now. You just got all butthurt about people talking about you.
Yeah.
And then, she also is like, she mentions like the persecutions of Christians. And how the First Amendment and the Ten Commandments aren't allowed in school anymore. They're just examples of persecution of Christians. And I'm really tired of this persecution of Christians, because in reality, people are just like, we're finally usurping their power that they've had on this country for so long. It's only now that people can be free, and now they feel threatened. It's ridiculous. Like, what? Like, it's against the Constitution. They say we're a Christian nation, but we're not a Christian nation. We're definitely the opposite of that. We're supposed to be secular, like this in the Constitution. That's the point. That's the reason we have the First Amendment. And she's freaking out, and it's like, you're not losing any rights. You are losing the rights you implemented in like Red Scares and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how you're saying Christians are being persecuted. It's just we don't want them to advertise that everywhere, because that's not what people want. You shouldn't have to force that on people's throats. It's like come on. Like, it says "In God We Trust" on the dollar bill. That wasn't there originally. The majority of people in this nation are Christian, so I don't understand how they're being persecuted. They still have their beliefs. They just can't be implementing them into the government. It's ridiculous. And especially public school systems, where it's taxation of the people who may not be Christian. So it's like, how are you getting so butthurt about this? You're being persecuted. No, people are fighting back for the right to not have to be Christian, to believe in whatever they want to believe in.
Right.
It's not like they're going down door to door, but are you a Christian? It's like, yes. Well, then you suck. You can't go to school anymore. You can't talk. You can't practice your beliefs anywhere. It's like, no.
Yeah. It's just that kind of thing. I don't understand people, you know?
And she went on more about, like, she was talking about this news. She's like, oh, in Michigan, there's a guy, or I don't know if it was Michigan, but she's like, there's a guy who murdered some people. He went on a rampage with a machete. Let's play the game, guess that religion, or guess that guy's nation of origin, or whatever. It's like, are you really saying that right now? Do you know how incredibly racist and ignorant you sound by saying that? I could easily believe that he's any religion.
Yeah.
Any religion. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, she's so petty about other, like, they feel so, Christians, these radical Christians like this, they feel so antagonized. It's So they have to lash out for these other religions. Like, you're giving all these other religions benefits. It's like, no. It's like we're trying to give them equal protection, just like we're trying to take away your extra protection that you have.
Yeah.
We'll criticize everyone equal. I mean, I will. As a more atheistic person, I'll criticize every religion.
Now, are you atheist or agnostic?
Okay. Say you're agnostic is to affirm that there's no evidence to sway you, right? That there's a God. There's no evidence, so you don't really believe that. But I think I'm more atheist because you can't assume a position and be like, there's no evidence for it, so I'm not gonna believe it. That makes sense, right?
Right.
So like the fact that I have to acknowledge something that they made up and put myself under a title to acknowledge their belief system, that doesn't make any sense. To say I'm agnostic, like I could be agnostic for anything. So I'm just saying I don't believe in a God. I would love there to be a God. If there was a God, that'd be amazing. I hope there's a God. I hope there's an afterlife.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, any religious text that states that is concocted by individuals who say they got it from God, but you look at all these contradicting, misogynistic, racist texts, and it's like, how do you believe any of that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
I hope there's a God.
Yeah. Because, I mean...
He shouldn't punish me for believing in reason, so...
Yeah. No, like, that's just it, is that nobody should be punished for their beliefs in any case, you know?
Well, I mean, to a degree, like, in our society, we set the standards, right? So if someone's a pedophile or murderer, that's their belief system. Like, if they're really cooked up, it's like...
Well, okay, like, let's go with moral beliefs.
Yeah. I mean, there should be... There's a human... There has to be human morality that's based in biology. Like, we have to get along. It's our benefit to get along, so we won't kill each other, so we won't hit each other. Like, stuff like this, that just makes common sense. It's beneficial for us. I'm not going to go around hit people. I'm not going to go around do whatever I want.
Right.
I understand there's limitations. I don't need no religious text to tell me, whatever.
Yeah.
I hate this argument for the morality from the Bible or the Quran or whatever. It's like the 10 Commandments of the Bible, you look at them, how many of them really benefit towards morality? How many of them mean anything towards morality? Like, don't steal, don't cheat, don't kill, respect your family. I can do all these things, and I'll do that because my parents raised me and I love them, so I'm going to respect them. I'm not going to steal or cheat from someone, because if everyone did that, where would we be as a society? I'm not going to kill everyone because I need other people. I don't want to kill anyone. I feel guilty. It's like the other stuff in the commandments, like, don't have another God. Don't take his name in vain. It's like that has nothing to do with morality.
Yeah.
It's the rant.
No, it's good. It's good rant. It's good to get that out.
It's good
out of your system. It's pent up. So.
No, I'll exclaim this all the time.
Yeah,
Mr. Bubbles was here. He'd agree with me wholeheartedly because he's a sane person.
Yeah, I guess you just do it in different manners, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll
attack.
Yeah, he'll attack. I try to criticize and analyze.
Yeah.
Like, because I was raised, Christian, so I understand their perspective and I see where people come from. I'm not going to hate them for their beliefs. They want to believe it. Doesn't hurt anyone, then why not? Makes them feel better, then why not?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, putting those beliefs on everyone else and limiting science, limiting education, limiting the government. It's just ridiculous. We could talk about anything Christian related. Like, honestly, like, marriage is the most ridiculous thing.
Even get me started.
I can get into it very easily. Marriage is a religious sanctity, right? It's a religious tradition. So the fact that you have a government that sanctifies marriage specifically to a man and woman because of religion, that is ridiculous. It should be between anyone that wants to be consenting adults, right? It shouldn't be restrictive, because that goes against the 14th Amendment. It's unconstitutional. Marriage shouldn't even be part of the state or government if it gives benefits. Like, it gives certain benefits, for your taxes, for loans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
you're giving benefits to people who don't have it. It's ridiculous. It's a religious institution. It should not be in the government. You can have religious marriages in churches, that's fine. But if you want to implement a system where people benefit from each other because they have a title of marriage, that should go to everyone who's consenting adults. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, because you don't have to go to a church to get married. You don't have to be married by a religious leader. You can go to a court.
Minister or court, or judge.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get easily a judge to marriage, marry you. But I think
it's based on religious texts.
Well, my biggest pet peeve is that sometimes, well, not sometimes, so this kind of leads into gay marriage rights.
Yeah.
And with people who...
Stupid Kim Davis.
Yeah. Well, people who are against gay marriage, their argument is that it taints the traditional marriage. You know what I'm getting at? I'm trying to think of the actual phrase that they use. It
destroys the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it right for everyone.
It destroys the sanctity of marriage. It goes against what marriage is meant to be.
It demoralizes the society.
Yeah, but at the same time, people are now having themed weddings. One of my friends was saying that a lot of my friends are hikers. Big shocker. She was out on a hike, and she came across this wedding in the middle of the woods. And, I mean, people, if they like nature enough, they'll get married out in the woods. But the thing was, everybody was wearing pig ears, pig noses, and pig tails.
Yeah, get it.
I've seen other marriages in which, everybody is dressed up as superheroes. Mm-hmm. I've seen marriages where people are dressed up as, again, animals. They have those themes. And that doesn't taint the sanctity of marriage?
Or being divorced and remarrying several times?
Yeah, because isn't that, again, I know for sure that that's against...
Or marrying not for love? It's like...
Yeah, all that stuff taints the tradition of marriage.
Yeah.
They don't acknowledge that. They acknowledge gay marriage as tainting it.
Even though having gay marriage is like one sin compared to all the sins that you can get from, divorce, cheating, etc.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what? Not even a major sin. It's not in the Ten Commandments, don't be gay.
Yeah.
No, nowhere in there.
Yeah, it's not in the Ten Commandments. There is like one section that goes against it, but that's it. It's just one section.
It's all priests writing it in different regions. We all take a theology. We know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's based on religion. So why is it in a government to give benefits to other people based on one religion or a religion? It should be uniform and equal.
In a sense, isn't it equal though? Because you can still get married without a religious leader. If it was set in stone where it was, you have to get married only by a religious leader, otherwise you're not recognized as married, then that would be unfair. But the fact that you can go to a judge and say, hey, Mr. Judge, I want to marry this person that I love so much. Can you do that for us? And they're like, yeah. And that's not religion imposing onto marriage.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like people should be able to do that and get the same exact benefits. But it's only recently that we got a federal jurisdiction by the Supreme Court to go ahead and actualize that people can get married. Not too long ago, like 2 years ago, gay people couldn't get married.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
That is.
That's so unconstitutional. It goes far beyond anything. Mm-hmm. And then with this Kim Davis, I want to mention Kim Davis because this ties into Ted Cruz.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't understand the Constitution. She doesn't understand the separation of church and state. So her as a government employee in implementing her religious ideas onto other people through her government jurisdiction is unconstitutional. She should not be allowed. She's not conducting her job by issuing marriage licenses. She should be fired. It's that simple. But no, she gets to keep her job. She just gets threatened. She should be immediately fired. People are scared to fire her because she's Christian. She's going for her beliefs. I don't care. You don't have teachers. Well, at least especially here in this liberal city that I was raised in, there are no teachers that go like, oh, go ahead, pray. It's all about God, etc. They don't
Right.
implement them at ever. They're not allowed to. They know that.
Mhm.
And Ted Cruz supports Kim Davis. He supports her. How are you gonna have someone who wants to be president, who's supposed to uphold the Constitution and defend this law of the land, right?
Uh-huh.
Who's gonna support someone who doesn't?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm all for her religious beliefs, and what she's doing is brave. It's like, no, she's not doing her job. She doesn't understand what the government is allowed to do.
Mhm.
And you're just supporting her. It's ridiculous.
As much as I don't agree with Ted Cruz, I do kind of feel sorry for the guy.
I feel sorry for Jeb
Because
Bush.
people, and Jeb, but people pick on Ted Cruz.
Because he deserves to be picked.
Yeah, but at the same, like, I saw
No,
this
he
video.
totally deserves to be
No,
picked
no,
on.
I agree with that. But I remember this one video that I saw, and it was Ted Cruz going to the Iowa caucus, and he goes to give his daughter a kiss,
Yeah, I see.
and she's like pushing him away,
Yeah, I posted
and
that.
like it's filmed, and it's just like, oh, that's kind of harsh. But
No, yeah, I posted that, and I was like,
did you post that?
yeah, I posted and I criticized it. I'm like, kids can all be brats.
Uh-huh.
Kids are brats all the time. If you're a parent, you know a parent. Kids don't always listen to you, and they're going to be a little snotty sometimes.
Yeah,
And so the fact they pose this and try to be like, oh, look how bad Ted Cruz is. No, that's ridiculous. That's stupid
Yeah.
journalism. You're attacking his person. I'll attack him for believing that God chose him to run for president. He's going to be elected because of God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on now.
yeah,
That's ridiculous. He's a crazy person.
yeah.
Doesn't
Great.
understand the Constitution.
Yeah.
He's... I mean, we'll talk about the second. Like... He's ridiculous. I saw a video of him talking to a NASA employee,
Okay.
and he's like, look at all these funds. He's a bar graph. He's like, look at all these funds where NASA's funding is going. It's like Earth exploration has gone up so much. Space exploration has gone down. There's a negative deficit. What's going on there? And then the NASA employee's like, well, as future technology advances, we spend less and less because it's easier to do so to make better technology. So in that regards, we spent less money on that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we need more money still to explore more space, to make these expeditions easier so we can go and colonize other planets.
Right.
And he's like, the reason we have this Earth exploration is because it's helped us out so much. He's like, by looking at this, we can see where there's deficits in the ground, where you can see the land has sunk in because the water underneath has evaporated.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ted Cruz doesn't want to believe global warming, climate change. So he's just like, whatever. But come on now. He's an incompetent man who is the face of a major political party, who has unconstitutional ideas, who forced the government to shut down. He's a main advocate for that. And he's still allowed to run for president. But the people that are criticizing him, they don't say any of this. They're like, oh, like Donald Trump. He's like, he wasn't born in America, so he's not allowed to run for president. That's one of my least of my concerns, because he's a citizen.
Right. And he should be allowed.
Yeah, he should be allowed. He's naturalized. Like,
Yeah.
Well, naturalized is like born in the land, but like if he's a citizen, I personally
that's-
see that as naturalized.
I hate that how people are, oh, he's from Canada. He was born in Canada.
He revoked his Canadian citizenship.
Yeah, and so now he is a citizen of the United States. So it's just, yeah.
He always was. He's just solely citizen now. United States.
Yeah.
But Jeb Bush, I feel bad for,
I do too.
because I've seen so many videos of him, and people are like, he's a robot, blah blah blah. But he's not like, he's like a regular politician to me. He's not like, politicians are usually likable. That's their goal. And so I'm looking at him, I'm like, I don't hate this guy. He doesn't, his policies I don't agree with. But like, I'm looking at him talk. There's nothing wrong with him, inherently.
Yeah.
But people hate him. Like, they criticize him when he told at the end of the speech, please clap. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
He gave a speech, and then at the end of it, he's like, please clap. And people started clapping. But it was like a joking matter.
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't take it seriously, but everyone's like, blah, 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 blah. He's begging for votes, for applause. It's like, no. And then I saw another video of him giving a speech, and he was cut off like halfway through.
What?
Yeah.
Like the video cut out, or somebody?
No, someone came up and it's like, that's all the time you have at a certain location. And so he's like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. And so he walks down and just starts eating pudding or something. But they're like criticizing him because he's eating pudding and he got cut off. It's like, he doesn't have control over that.
He doesn't. Yeah, and why would you criticize for eating pudding? Everybody eats pudding.
Pudding's delicious.
It's just people are nitpicking at the smallest of things.
The stuff that doesn't matter, the trivial things.
Uh-huh.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But the but.
It's just this year is a little bit. It's strange. Like this year's election, at least for me.
This year is gonna go down in history. Like I've looked
it is.
If you look at the past votes and of how all these things play out, there's a scandal with Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
There's a businessman celebrity, right? And then there's a socialist coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at it, this has happened in the past. You've had scandals with Nixon, you've had celebrities with Reagan, and you've had the socialist back in, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, because saying he's a socialist, I can't remember his name is not enough.
He's a socialist person that ran for president, and he was amazing. He had amazing ideas, amazing plans.
How long was it?
Eugene Debs, back in the 1900s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he split the vote, and he impacted that election so much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, he's a socialist, so now people don't vote for him.
Yeah.
But it's like all three of those categories, those types of people, they're running now.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention Hillary's a woman. So all of this together is just like a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm tired of?
Huh.
I'm tired of people. I'm tired of a lot of things. But
Me too.
I'm tired of people saying they're going to leave the country, they're going to secede, etc. if the person they want to be elected isn't elected. If someone else is elected, they're going to leave.
So dumb.
That's not democracy. That's not what we signed. That's not what we live by. It's ridiculous. You stand by the nation's decision. You can criticize it, but you don't just leave. You're being a total baby for not like abiding by the laws.
It reminds me of high school. You know?
Go on.
Like, did you ever, did your school ever do lip sync?
No, I wish.
No?
Sounds awesome.
No, we did. So it's, during the basketball seasons and during homecoming, we'll do what's called lip sync. And it's like, it seems
where you
like
plug
it's
your iPod into your mouth?
something like that.
And
Yeah,
it
no,
syncs up?
you play a song and you're in this giant group. It's kind of like a flash mob, more or less. And everybody's dancing. There's this choreography dance. And there's like a quote-unquote singer who's lip-syncing, and it's just supposed to be like a giant pep rally, trying to get people boosted. It's entertainment, that kind of thing. But it turns into such a popularity thing, in that, you know, if somebody has, like, whoever the leader is, that's the thing, is like whoever the leader is kind of determines who's going to be in the lip-sync. You know, if that leader has a bunch of friends, there's going to be a bunch of people that are in it. If the leader is kind of like that person that's a little bit more quiet and doesn't have as many friends, but like they're all close friends, there's not going to be as many people going. And it's like, if a decision is made on like certain music or a certain theme or whatever, this and that, and people don't like it, they'll just leave the lip sync group. They're like, I don't want to do a Disney theme. I want to do Pixar. So they leave. You know, it's something like that. And it's childish.
Yeah.
You know? But it's just, again, it's stand by your country's decision. And, you know, you might not like it, but
Yeah.
it might actually turn out for the better. I mean, I'm not saying, you know,
Yeah.
certain candidates that may or may not be elected may not change our country for the better.
And they may not really affect it at all, because
Yeah.
it really comes down to Congress.
Yeah. So, again, for me, just the presidential candidates, it's just different.
You know what it
as
is?
opposed to the past few years.
You know, I'm going to say this. I haven't seen anything really negative, or if I have, I've ignored it, about Bernie Sanders. I really like Bernie Sanders for the fact that it doesn't seem like he wants to win, just to say that he's president. It seems like all these other candidates have something to prove, and they don't really want the nation to improve. They don't want to do anything.
They just want
want to win.
They want the title. Yeah.
Yeah. But Bernie, if you look at his past accolades, when has he gloated about anything? You've never heard of Bernie Sanders pretty much until this election. Like, there's some people who knew him a few years ago, and there's people who lived in the state that know him. But, like, back in the civil rights days, he marched with the people back then. You've never seen him gloat about that.
Yeah.
Like, he's never said, yeah, I fought for civil rights back then. He doesn't gloat that all the time. If it comes up, people are like, yeah, I did that. But it's like, he's a man who wants to make this nation better. I've seen him I've showed you that video where he's criticizing other politicians and other people about their harsh actions. Like when he calls out that one guy who's like, it's because of you far left liberals that we have gays or homosexuals in the military, right?
That's messed up.
Yeah. And then Bernie Sanders is like, can you bring that gentleman back up here? Is he criticizing the people who are risking their lives and fighting for our nations to make sure he's living safe? And he's criticizing them like that? He's like, that's terrible. He just destroyed them. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably, I mean, I like his ideas. You know, his policies might come into under scrutiny for presidential power. We can get into presidential power in another episode because this one's running late.
Yeah.
But it's like, out of all the candidates, out of the people who are backed by, you know, big companies, big super PACs, the people who want to win just to win the title, he doesn't seem like that. He seems like he legitimately wants to help the people.
Right. Do you know his stance on law enforcement at all?
What do you mean?
I saw something that it was very brief. Like, I was just scrolling through Facebook and somebody shared an article, and it was like something about how he didn't necessarily support police officers, but I didn't have time to read whatever it was. It was just like it was like I was in a hurry and I kind of just saw it and I can read it, but it seemed like the article was saying, or trying to say, that Bernie Sanders didn't support police actions.
Could
or
be
something
true.
along those lines. I don't know. I wasn't sure if you've heard about that or not.
Well, I mean, he did hang out with Killer Mike, the rapper.
Did he?
Yeah, and and they were talking about how police actions, some go beyond, you know, their power, and they're negatively affecting people. Like he talked about Michael Brown and Sandra Bland and stuff like that. Eric Garner. He's talked about these issues, and he talks about how the people are angry, and he's just like, he wants to eradicate racism, essentially.
Okay.
So if he comes and talks with these individuals who are against police brutality, right, then he's going to be deemed in that light of anti-police.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can look more
that might have been it. I mean, I'm trying to find the article now, but I can't, so...
Yeah, you can look more into it, but I'm pretty sure anyone who goes and talks about... If you criticize anything, you're automatically against it, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Scrolling through, I just saw that somebody shared a link, and the title is 9 Places to Move If Donald Trump Becomes President.
Yeah, see, that's...
It's like...
I don't... If Donald Trump becomes president, like, he's had some racist ideas, but he's not backed by anyone, right? He has his own money. He doesn't need to be backed. I mean, Sarah Palin's got his back. But like, he's not backed by anyone. He has some racial ideas. But can he really implement any of those things? And where can he...
Not through Congress.
Yeah. So my main concern with him is his racist ideas, right? His stance on immigration, and how well he will be as a political, as a leader of the free world, right? Parentheses, quotation marks. Like, how can he interact internationally with other nations? Those are my main concerns with him.
Yeah.
So...
Those are my main concerns too.
Yeah,
you know,
but they're not like... Some of them aren't that like... This is pretty much our nation now. Like, there are racist people now. There's people who always want to fight for this immigration act. Like, people don't know how to do that. There's no way he can build a giant wall. There's no way he's going to be saying all these racist things about Muslims and implement acts like how we did against the Chinese in California or the Japanese during World War II. You can't do that with Muslims. It's not going to happen. It's not going to go by the people. Yeah. So as much as I hate those things, that's not what I'm really fearful for. I'm fearful how he's going to be a leader internationally. So that's what's going to screw us over.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, he's going to cut not just a foreign tie, multiple foreign ties.
Yeah.
Because none of the international countries really like him.
Exactly.
At least
like,
our allies.
Didn't Britain was like...
Yeah, Britain.
Try to pass a law to not allow him in the country because of his instigation. Because they have a law in Britain that's like, if you're a dangerous individual, then you're not allowed there.
Yeah,
exactly. And his actions deemed him a dangerous individual. So they try to push for that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
All right. We're running low on time.
Yeah.
So we can just end it here.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. We can have another TubeCast.
Yeah. Yeah, save some good subjects for later with 2 other guests that we hope to have. I'm sure that they'll provide some fresh insight. Because
I think that one's going to be more fun.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a lot more fun, and I think that we're going to have a lot more insight as well, because the topics that I want to talk about, I've talked already with you, one-on-one, so we know each other's opinions and what we're going to say. So it's nice to have, 2 new people who I've never talked to about these opinions and see what they have to say. Yeah. And I'm sure it's going to start more debate, because we can't really have a debate when we both kind of agree on the same thing.
And even when we don't agree, we have like a mutual respect. And
yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere. It's just like we have mutual respect. We understand each other's ideas, and we kind of just let it end. Like we don't hate each other after that.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing that I like about debating with you and people that share that same thing, is the way that I look at it. I respect everybody's beliefs. Like, if you have your belief and you have your argument set up for why you think the way that you think, I'm going to respect that. I'm not always going to agree with that.
Yeah. If you persuade me, that'd be amazing. But
yeah. But at the same time, I'm not going to attack you as a person because I don't agree with your opinion.
That doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, or like shove my opinion down your throat and tell you that your opinion is wrong. I hate it when people do that.
Like, it's a huge, really huge, fucking just huge old chocolate covered banana. Those are delicious.
Exactly.
You thought I was gonna go somewhere else?
No, I was actually hoping for the banana, because there's chocolate covered bananas in my fridge right now. So.
Hey, can I have some?
If you come over here.
All right. I'll risk the 40-minute drive. I mean, we're in the same room. I see you right now. Here, just give me it.
Huh?
Give me the banana. Just
no.
Reach in the fridge. Hand it over.
No, it's fine.
I don't want to get up, please.
No, fine. You need your rest, because you are ill.
Yes, I am sick, by the way.
Yeah, I think chocolate-covered bananas are not good for you, but...
No, potassium, it's good.
And sugar. Well, maybe. You know what you need? You need some good old-fashioned snake oil remedies.
Some good old-fashioned cola.
All right. Hey, we never talked about Mountain Dew. We'll save that one for another.
Exactly. So the next recording is going to be especially long. It's going to be great, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But this concludes this week's, although we're going to have back-to-back episodes this week. It's going to be great. But this concludes this week's Speak. Tune in next week or later today, tomorrow, whatever, for when we talk about how goldfish can actually speak 4 different Germanic languages.
Mm-hmm. And they know CPR.
Absolutely.
When they're swimming around, their mouth just kind of opens up. They're practicing that proper mouth form to get the best seal to resuscitate a person and or fish.
And or seal.
Yeah, that's true. Seals are important.
All right, so thank you for joining the BLC.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.